Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Resistance. We've got two trades today. We're going to look at the swing from yesterday that we held SGM. Now, this one I said I would close it if it was green at all, and I would add on short if it gapped up and metals went down. Now, that scenario happened. It gapped up and metals went down. But there's a second part to this, is that unexpectedly MU and the QQQs absolutely soared. So we have, and mind you, this is in post-market yesterday, so basically our pre-market it sort of happened in the US session. So chip makers all just absolutely stonked because of earnings from MU or Micron, and therefore chips are a big part of the business for SGM. So what we ended up having was just a gap up, and I did start selling as it was coming off. It was a bit of a big gap up, and I thought, okay, I'll see what happens on match. Nothing really exciting. It wicked down, started coming off, started closing it in small size, just little parcels as it was coming off. So really didn't lose too much. I'd say maybe just under, maybe 1.5% average. So not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, it did come off, and I wasn't expecting it, and I kind of just moved on to this next trade, which was JDO. Now this one was absolutely fucking monstrous. The thing you'll learn about $1 stocks, especially when they move rapidly, is that every tick matters, especially when you're sizing in, especially if you're using leverage. This thing can absolutely moonshot. I mean, simply a simple 10 grand position will net 1K in 10 cents. Like it's pretty fucking significant. Like it's a big move, and you can see just how much it moved in just the open drive, right? 6%. Now I didn't get the open. I did not get the open. Someone called it out. I looked at it. I saw it here at around 110, and I immediately started hammering into 107. There was like a little bit of a reload, and yeah, just kept hammering it, and she just dumped straight away to 97. There was a bit of a move up. I was like thinking, okay, VWAP, maybe $1, and then there was this really tight sideways range. It wicked down once, and I thought, okay, it's coming back up, and I just want to get out of this. I absolutely fucking despise stocks that suddenly go sideways on high volume and just churn. It's terrible, because you're either going to wick down or you're going to wick up, and it's usually quite sharp. And it's like, I realistically, I probably could have taken half off, but I ended up with 97 to close out. And then I think I ended up buying 96, selling at 97. I basically made one or two ticks trying to go long. It's just a silly thing to do, but I did recognize that it was getting hammered. Now there was this one area here around 95. Well, it was around, I think it was this candle here. This is it. Sorry, it wasn't 95. No, I bought this 94, and then I closed it for a tick or two here. Sorry, it wasn't earlier. It was this part here. I remember because this high volume trade here at 95. 95 was a big level. There was the algorithms just fighting constantly, reloading, and this happened earlier. This was happening a little bit earlier before it broke down, and it's like, oh, okay, so there's someone clearly with an iceberg order just continuously reloading the sell with an algo, and it looked exactly the same at 95. And then I was a little bit slow because I closed out my position as it was happening, and I didn't execute the short straight away. So basically the moment it popped down, I started shorting more like 93, 92.5, and then just took it a few ticks down, because like I said, every tick matters. Finding that sort of momentum in the order book, and the sort of repetitive nature of the order book. And in this case, it was the algorithm just fighting. One would give in, one would take over, and it was basically just doing that again, the exact same thing again with the order book, just algos fighting for it, and one algo just ended up winning, and that was the sell side. So we ended up seeing that twice. Came off, and I'm not sure if it happened here. I actually, this might have been it. I think it might have happened around 86 as well. And then it happened a little bit later, and then on the way up, I think there was only 500,000 shares where it was reloading at that same sort of 86-ish level, and then started recovering. So a couple of shorts there. There was a long trade that I took here at 86, and then yeah, it kind of just came off, and I closed it at 83. Long story short, there was like one loss there and two really good shorts. I regret not taking at match. I'm trying to avoid match. I'm trying to just execute off the order book. And yeah, I mean, this had a nice tight range, if you will. Like there was no real spread. It was quite safe to short. You know, all in hindsight, I think I might start match trading because the way I'm seeing things lately is things are just moving one direction, particularly gap downs. Gap downs are just getting hammered. And yeah, it did fuck all for the rest of the day. Sorry, I did end up shorting around 90.5. Basically this level here, 90 or 90.5, and then I added on VWAP. It popped through, I added on one more time, and then I just ended up cutting as it was just doing fuck all for the rest of the day. So I guess I dropped maybe 1.50 cents on this, I think, on average. It wasn't too bad. Just, yeah, I'm not sure what to make of this. A bit of a gap down in auction. I did not see that. I was really tempted to hold this short overnight because that is just a brutal move. But unfortunately, the one thing that sort of turned me off holding it overnight was the fact that everyone that I know that has actually looked at this in depth or is familiar with the stock is like, structurally, there's nothing too wrong. AI, I mean, I don't like using AI too much to analyze things, but for something like this sector that I don't quite understand, I was just like, okay, out of 10, how bad is this news? And like, it's a 7 out of 10 in terms of how bad it is, but structurally, there's nothing wrong with the company. And it's just like, I don't know if you can sell down 40% and not have something incredibly wrong with the company. But you know, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I understand how to read bank stocks or this bank equivalent or what it's trying to be. So I mean, look, this is the outcome of trying to be a bank and not selling home loans, I guess. Is CBA going to do something like this? Fuck no. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I didn't have any sort of swings to add on. Actually, I did have, or rather, I was looking at HCH. We talked about this yesterday, but I was talking about getting a short for this move down here at just above $2. But there were no shorts available anyway. So I was looking at it today. I'm like, you know, this match, absolutely gorgeous sell down. But, you know, that's on the back of CopX and, where is it? So CopX absolutely just collapsing. And then you got some, yeah, just copper futures breaking that support level. SFR I was watching, but it really didn't do a whole lot. It actually kind of wicked up for some reason. I'm kind of like eyeing it off. I don't know if this 1850 holds. I'm not too convinced of this. I'm not convinced of these support levels holding, but we'll see how it goes in the future. We'll see how things go day by day. But at this point in time, I'm not looking at a long. But I'll let you guys know when I change my mind on that. All right, guys, I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.